What if I told you that you could actually change the entire course of your life just by changing how you stand for 2 minutes? I know it sounds almost too simple to be real, right? But the science here is just, wow, it's fascinating. So let's get right into it.
All right, before we dive in, let's do a quick check-in. Right now, as you're listening to this, how are you sitting? Seriously, take a second. Are you kind of hunched over? Are your legs crossed? Maybe your arms wrapped around you? Are you, making yourself smaller? Just tuck that thought away, because it's at the heart of everything we're going to talk about today. So what we're about to unpack is basically a life hack, but it's not some fancy app or expensive gadget. Nope, this is completely free. It's zero tech. All you need is your own body and just a couple of minutes. But as you're about to see, it can literally change the way your life plays out. Okay, so we all know about body language, right? We're kind of obsessed with it. But we usually think of it as this one-way street, like what is my body saying to other people? But here's the thing we always forget. There's another audience, an audience that's always listening, and that's you, your own mind. Your nonverbals don't just shape how others see you, they shape how you see yourself.
So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, it's pretty universal. If you look across the entire animal kingdom, and that includes us humans, power is all about expanding. It's about making yourself bigger, taking up space. Think about that classic Wonder Woman pose, or a runner crossing the finish line, arms thrown up in a V. And powerlessness? Well, it's the exact opposite. We close up. We fold in on ourselves. We try to become as small as possible. And this leads to a really important question. We know our minds change our bodies, right? I mean, you feel happy? You smile. Simple. But can we flip that script? Can our bodies change our minds? If you just pretend to be powerful, can that pretense actually make you feel powerful? Well, to figure that out, social scientists came up with this just beautifully simple experiment. The whole point was to test this one idea. Can holding a specific pose actually change you from the inside out? Let's take a look at how they set it up. The setup was pretty straightforward. People would come into the lab, and first thing, they'd give a saliva sample. This was to get a baseline for their hormones. Then, they were told to hold either a high-power pose or a low-power pose. After that, they were given an opportunity to gamble, which is a test for risk-taking, and then they gave one final saliva sample at the end. And here's the kicker, the most important detail of this whole thing. How long did they have to hold the pose? Just 2 minutes. That's it, 120 seconds. It's such a tiny tweak, but oh man, the results? They were anything but tiny.
So, what could possibly happen in just 2 little minutes? Well, the results were honestly staggering. And it wasn't just about how people acted, it was about what was happening inside their bodies on a chemical level.
First up, let's talk behavior. Remember that chance to gamble? Well, get this, an incredible 86% of the people who held high-power poses decided to take the risk. Compare that to the low-power posers. Only 60% of them went for it. That is a massive jump in confidence and optimism just from holding a pose for 2 minutes. And the hormonal changes? They were just as wild. The high-power group, their testosterone, that's the dominance hormone, it went up by 20%. Meanwhile, the low-power group, theirs actually went down by 10%. 2 totally different directions.
And then there's cortisol, which is basically the body's main stress hormone. Same story, just as dramatic. For the high-power group, their stress levels actually dropped by 25%. But the low-power group, they became more stressed out. Their cortisol levels went up by 15%.
So what does this all mean? The takeaway is crystal clear. Just 2 minutes is literally enough to change your brain's chemistry. It can make you more assertive, more confident, and physically less reactive to stress. It proves it. Our bodies absolutely change our minds.
Okay, that's all super cool in a sterile lab environment, but what about the real world? I mean, does this actually work when the stakes are high? Like in a super stressful job interview? Well, to find out, they ran another study. This time, people did their power poses right before walking into this really grueling 5-minute interview. And get this, the interviewers were trained to give 0 nonverbal feedback. No smiling, no nodding, nothing. It's like this social quicksand designed to make you feel totally powerless. Then, a bunch of evaluators who had no idea who did which pose watched the recordings.
And the results were just off the charts. The evaluators wanted to hire every single one of the high-power posers, every single one. And the low-power posers, they didn't want to hire any of them. But here's the most important part. It had nothing to do with what they said. The content of their speech was basically the same. It was all about their presence, the confidence and passion they brought into that room.
Now let's be super clear here. The idea isn't to walk into the interview and strike a Wonder Woman pose. That'd be weird. No, this is about what you do before. This is a conversation you have with yourself, in private, in an elevator, a bathroom stall, wherever. It's those 2 minutes before the big moment that sets you up to win. But I get it. For a lot of us, this whole idea can feel, well, kind of fake, right? It can trigger that imposter syndrome voice in our heads that says we don't belong. And the main researcher behind all this, Amy Cuddy, She has an incredibly powerful story about that exact feeling.
See, when she was 19, she was in a really bad car accident, and her IQ dropped significantly. Her whole identity, which was built on being the smart one, was just gone. She felt completely powerless. Years later, when she was in grad school at Princeton, she felt like such an imposter that she was ready to quit. But her advisors stopped her and said, no, you are not quitting, you are going to fake it. You're going to give every speech, you're going to do everything you're scared of until you have that moment where you realize you're not faking it anymore. You've become.
And sure enough, years later, she's teaching at Harvard, and a student comes to her and says, I feel like an imposter. I'm not supposed to be here. And in that one moment, it all clicked for Cuddy. She realized, oh my gosh, I don't feel that way anymore. She had become it, and she knew that her student could too. It's the perfect real-life example of this whole process.
And that leads us to the biggest takeaway of all. It's not fake it till you make it. It's fake it till you become it. This isn't just about tricking yourself to get through one scary meeting. It's about doing these tiny tweaks enough times that they actually become a part of who you are. It's not an act anymore. It's just you.
So here's your 2-minute toolkit. It's super simple. Before that next big, stressful thing on your calendar, find a private spot, a bathroom stall, an empty office, whatever. And for 2 minutes, stand in a power pose. Let your body literally configure your brain for confidence. Prime yourself for the win, so you can walk in there and just be your best, most powerful self. And really, that's the final incredible idea here. Tiny tweaks can lead to big, big changes. You don't have to completely reinvent yourself overnight. Sometimes, these small, simple adjustments are the things that end up transforming our lives the most. Look, the science is solid, the tool is completely free, and it's something you can use anytime, anywhere. So really, there's only one question left, and it's for you. Who will you become in your next 2 minutes?